Hi, I'm Jamie of Pandora Astrology, and with me is...
Hey guys, it's Julia.
And we're here to talk with you today about the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius that is coming up on June 5th. And as you can see in the diagram, we have the moon here in Sagittarius at the bottom of the chart, opposite the sun in Gemini, and a lunar eclipse is always built on a full moon. It can only happen when a full moon is happening, and it also falls near the north and south nodes of the moon. This particular eclipse also includes influences of Venus and most especially Mars, which is very precisely involved in this eclipse. Check that out. It's at 15 degrees, same as the sun and moon. And right next to Mars are Neptune and Ceres. So this is a really busy eclipse. And eclipses also are their own special kind of thing. They tend to stir up a lot of emotions. They make us look at our shadow. They root around in us and bring stuff to the surface that we weren't looking at. So, Julia, being as this is built on a full moon in Sagittarius, what do you think would be some of the root themes of this eclipse?
I think some of the root themes, Sagittarius can be a very searching sign, a very philosophical one that has to deal with kind of broadening your mind. It's the sign of the higher mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But full moons are relationship oriented as well.
That's true. So there might be some arguments about points of philosophy, about worldviews, people's
Yeah.
paradigms of thought clashing, people's
Yeah.
belief systems clashing in a very emotional way.
Yeah.
And that might result in some angry outbursts because of Mars's interaction with this from its super precise position of 15 degrees of Pisces, which squares this eclipse exactly. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. No, Mars is definitely the big player here.
And then we have Venus, which tends to, pour oil on troubled waters, which tends to add sugar, sweeten things. And that really also re-emphasizes those relational themes you were talking about, Julia. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, I really like Venus's presence here because such a tight degree square from Mars, and already kind of a hard year in eclipse, is pretty volatile.
Yeah.
Even though Mars is in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces isn't necessarily the most martial sign of the zodiac. Pisces can be very compassionate and artistic and spiritual. So, there is this kind of, Mars and Pisces aggression coming in here, which can be, indirect or, sort of poisoning the atmosphere instead of being directly confrontational aggression, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Venus with the sun and the moon, I think is going to add a little bit of diplomacy, a little bit of redirection, a little bit of social awareness. So that because anger is the least socially aware feeling. It's all just about you and your blindness to whatever is getting you upset.
Yeah.
So I think that Venus in there is adding, and especially since it's in opposition with the sun and moon in full, some level of awareness of the entire interaction.
Yes. And here's where I want to put a little warning into this video. And now, Julia, you know that you and I are not about fatalism when we interpret astrology, and we're certainly not about sowing fear. But, and we're making this video ahead of time, as we always do. So it's actually May right now. We're making the June video. And there have been a lot of items in the news about how when people are forced to stay at home, they get really frustrated, and then sometimes domestic abuse situations arise, and that whole tendency can be exacerbated by the necessity of holding up with your family members and the stress of it. And so the warning that I want to insert here is if there is someone in your household who you fear could become violent under stress, under pressure, then you should view this moon with a lot of caution. And I would do what you need to do to protect yourself. And if that means placating, and that means soothing and pretending to agree with this family member's opinions, then you do what you have to do. Now, Julia, Neptune and Ceres are there. Do you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think, well, Neptune always brings a little bit of confusion. And I think with Mars right next to it, could be a lot of misdirection. I mean, I know I said it earlier, but I just see Mars and Pisces conjunct Neptune, and I think just poisoning the atmosphere.
Right,
Just
almost more
like
of a passive-aggressive approach to
yeah,
expression of anger.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know. With Ceres in there, yeah. What do you think with Mars conjoined Ceres?
When I think of Mars and Ceres, I often think about how they both have to do with the physical body, but Mars is the active body and Ceres is the sensate body. So Ceres is the body that remains still and feels and notices and has intuition and also digests. And then Mars is about being in motion, being in action. And so I would think that this has to do with health,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it has to do
maybe
with
a lot of tummy
exercise.
problems.
Yeah, it could be tummy troubles, it could be inflammation, it could be fever. Mars rules fever, among other things. It could be blood issues. Mars is fire, fire is blood. It and it also could have to do with fertility, gestation. So I would
A lot of
definitely,
babies being born.
what?
Conception. Maybe lots of conception. That
Quite
would be a wonderful
possibly.
interpretation
Yeah,
of this full
this is a
moon.
very
Baby sit
sexual
there.
combination, right?
Yeah, use
Mars
the
square
energy to
Venus.
conceive.
I mean, really, we've titled this one Channel Passion, Not Anger, on purpose, because that Mars square Venus is really sexy. And if your relationship is in a phase where you're, quite attracted to each other, then, bang this one out in the bedroom. But if you're in a place where one or both of you are not attracted to each other, then it can come out in the form of tension and arguments. So if you can channel that into remembering the passion that you once had and express it that way, that could be a good thing. That could be a good use. But definitely, pay attention to your digestion too. And if you don't want to conceive right now, I would definitely reach for the contraception.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Pisces is a pretty fertile sign.
Yeah. Yeah, this combination, especially with Ceres there right next to Mars. Woo. I think we're done. You think we're done, Julia?
Yeah,
All
sounds good
right.
to me.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this and get some use out of it. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.